What a World Baseball Classic, everybody. Delivered in fan attendance, delivered in ratings, energy on the field, competitive nature, dudes for the most part buying in. Uh, electric environment last night in the championship game between Venezuela and the United States. Place was packed. Energy was pumped through the building. I drawn in the dugout, especially in Team Venezuela. We saw it, the night before when Italy and Venezuela played. We saw it the night before that when USA and Dominican Republic played. We've seen it all over in all the different venues. Energy, energy, energy. Fans and fully locked in. Teams are locked in, playing at a hard level. The ratings and attendance numbers are through the roof. Continue to keep building and building and building. This is now where we need to be. It is showing the game is growing. We are seeing a lot of great things, and there's this tournament brought us a ton. Kind of made you think. Literally, it's like I was sitting on my couch and like, man, we got to. I have to shit through the dog days of spring training. It's like, oh, well, 8 inning ball game, and still 2 weeks or 3 weeks to opening day. It did that. Well, we got that 2.5 week, that 2 week momentum. See a lot of great action, a lot of the best players in the world competing. Talk about some of the insurance stuff. Talk about who opted in and opted out, and all that stuff later. Overall, the vibes, the energy, bringing baseball in from a national perspective. You're playing for your nation. You're playing for that team on the front. The contract doesn't really matter, but you are playing for your brothers. You're playing for your nation. And Venezuela, congratulations on your championship. Absolutely fantastic. It's a very, very, very baseball-rich nation. History everywhere, and seeing them finally get over that hump. They've been there versus the Dominican Republic, always kind of been their way. Cuba's always kind of been their way. The United States have always been their way. Conquered some of their demons. They also lost the DR and finished second in the group, but they worked their way through that path, going in there, handling your business, beating Japan, taking out Italy, playing to who they are. And it is something really, really cool. You kind of look like, well, who's your Venezuela? Ronald Acuna Jr. Off the top of that, Jack Venturio, Salvador Perez, two major legends, Johan Santana and Miguel Cabrera, both their pitching and hitting coach on the squad, built that legacy. A lot of great players in history come from that country, and they finally were able to put it all together and make it happen. And you could see once that ended, the energy, the emotion of winning that title was really, really cool. And that's what it's supposed to all be about. It's just achieving that goal. And you look at it now as your parents walk to you, Dominican Republic is 1-1, the United States 1-1, Venezuela's 1-1. So more teams winning makes it even better. It's not just like, well, it's just Team USA or just Team Japan. You're seeing now a fourth nation have that championship, and that shows the game is competitive everywhere. There is talent across the globe, and if we can keep pushing and seeing baseball develop in other nations, you're going to start seeing less American players who have somewhat of a linked heritage playing for that nation, and more players from that country actually playing for that national team. When it comes to the WBC and the Olympics in 2028 now in LA. Welcome to another episode of the Power Rally Podcast. I'm Fresh. We're connected to the Spinnable Sports Network. You can find us on all podcast platforms as well as the Spinnable Sports YouTube channel. You can find the Power Rally Podcast on Twitter/X at Power Rally Pod. You can find me, Fresh, on Twitter/X at SS_2Fresh. I'm a contributor to SpinnableSports.com and a co-host of our flagship podcast, the Irrational Confidence Podcast. You can find that on Twitter/X at IR Confidence Pod. If you're looking to follow more at Spinnable Sports on Twitter/X and of course SpinnableSports.com. We just did a little bit of rebrand for Spinnable Sports, so new logo on there. Hit up the Twitter/X page or hit up the website SpinnableSports.com and check it out. But most importantly, if you want to catch this episode and other episodes, Spinnable Sports YouTube channel. Topics for today's episode: we are recording this very early on Wednesday, March 18th. So last night, championship kind of wrapped it up. We are now basically a week away from opening day. We're going to wrap up the WBC in full. Congratulations to Team Venezuela. Kind of dive into that. Time to dive into Team USA, dive into the overall experience. And it's that time for me to give my 2026 MLB season predictions. We're going to go through division by division, how I feel they're going to, finish out the year, and who my playoff teams are, and who my two teams for the World Series will be down in October. Looking back at the WBC, I kind of alluded to it earlier, but Venezuela, look at that baseball-rich nation. Michael Garcia, third baseman, been an infielder for the Royals, kind of been that other guy in that squad. Cause you have Caglione and Pasquantino and Bobby Witt Jr. and Salvi. He showed up for Venezuela all tournament long. Clutch hits, great defense, made things happen. Var, another name. If you aren't a Rockies fan or not playing fantasy baseball in a deep league, you wouldn't know that he's a shortstop, very productive player, was able to get it done. Luis Ariz at first base, very good contact hitter, solid lock in there. They didn't even have Jose Altuve playing in this tournament due to insurance stuff. You look at Ronald Acuna Jr. healthy after last year coming back. I got a feeling he's going to be locked in for a massive year for the Braves, but he showed up. Jackson Chourio, Brewers superstar, out there making plays. Pitching staff was the one. Valencia for the Cubs locked it down all tournament long. Absolutely lights out. The one crazy part was Eduardo Rodriguez. Dude has an ERA of 5 the past few years, really off it, but you can definitely tell playing the WC gave him some juice. And he's found it back for, to revive his career. But especially at start with Team USA, he went out and just, he was filthy. USA could not hit him. USA could not hit the entire bullpen. Nobody's hit the Venezuela bullpen the entire tournament. They were unstoppable. Might as well just 3 up, 3 downs, get ready to go back out the field every time they showed up in the field, every time they showed up on the bump. Dominant effort. This team was locked in. They were ready. Their skipper had been out in 2017 squad as an assistant coach. He kind of threw out for batting practice, got the job in 2023 tournament, had some success, and then got them here with a plan, and they finally delivered. And as you look at, I mentioned earlier in the intake, El Cabrera and Johan Santana. As a kid growing up, the two of those guys were, Cabrera's one of the best hitters of all time. Santana was dealing for the Twins and for the Mets. Having those guys passing down that pedigree and that knowledge to that team and being the icons on there was really cool to see. Team Venezuela, tons and tons of talent in that nation, and they've always been in contention to finally be able to get over the hump and get past Japan, DR, and the United States and claim that crown. Sometimes it does come out to the seeding, your group, and maybe sometimes it's like any kind of it's a bracket. Maybe it's okay to be in that kind of other path and losing, finishing second in your pool and having a better setup in the in that first round, the knockout stage might help you. And they just took on all comers, and you have to go through Japan and the United States. It shows that it was not an easy road, and they did it, and they did it with grace, and they did it with finesse and energy. And their fans down in Miami, Lone Depot Park was hopping. Lone Depot Park was on fire the entire tournament, whether it was pool play, whether it was the knockout stages. It was rocking. The Tokyo Dome was fantastic. The vibes down there in Puerto Rico were electric. And then you look at Daikin Park. Mexican fans brought the energy. USA fans were there as well. Two of those two nations, then everyone buying into Team Italy, following them along, everywhere. It was just awesome, absolutely awesome to see. And if that's what we're going to get is a precursor to the whole entire 2026 MLB season. And if you watch, KBO and and the Nippon Baseball League or any others, other domestic or Mexican baseball league, etc., and the players go back to their respective clubs, and we can take this and build off. The one scary part is that there's also the underlying factor of potential lockout looming. And if you've seen the success from the WBC, you see the success we're seeing out the field. I have a feeling we're going to have a lockout. There's just a lot of money that's being flooded around, a lot of issues that need to be addressed, but you need to have some common sense perspective and look where the game is at. And a lockout could destroy everything that you have built and push forward. So hopefully this says, look, hey, look at this, look what we have right in front of us right now. How can we take this and move forward? And come together, cooler heads prevail. Obviously, everybody, get their money and make sure we're doing right by everybody, owners and everyone. And I'll talk about that potential item later on in the year, during the summer. But we can't, what we just built here in the WBC, and we see momentum growing and growing and growing. You can't let this slip. Baseball is an obsession for a lot of people. And we are right there on the cusp of taking it to the next level and really growing it globally, but also just keeping the momentum with the young upcoming talent across the game. And the WBC is a prime example of where that game is going, and you can't let it go because of the major league players strike or the union strike or owners and players strike. You need to find a resolution. We have a year. Get to the conversation table, start laying it out. It's time to do it before it's too late. Next thing, Team Italy. What a cool story. Yes, the majority of the team is all Americans who either have some sort of connection from to Italy, whether it's their great grandparents, etc. It was a fun vibe. The espresso machine, the music when they won, the gestures, they embody, the Armani suits all walking in, they embodied being Italian. The Italian government, the prime minister, the nation, people over there watching them play and represent their nation, seeing them win and have success, seeing them beat the United States, seeing them advance to the semifinal. You hope that when the WBC comes around the next time, that roster that was the majority of American players is now cut in half, and you have players who are naturally from Italy, who are naturalized Italian citizens playing for Team Italy, getting that grassroots momentum and keep building it. This right here is a good jump. It might not be fully next, but 2 terms from now, 6, 8 years from now. You're seeing guys who have been watching it, little kids who have watched it. Like, you know what? I want to play baseball. I love soccer. It's awesome, but I make, professional opportunity from soccer, but I could really just take this baseball thing and keep pushing with it. So the team that we did, all the antics, the vibes, it was really cool. And it added just an extra flair to this entire tournament. Players coming and going. Yes, there's insurance deals with major league clubs, and there's, as we saw in the championship game with Mason Miller and Valencia, were only allowed to pitch if their team was winning and it was a close, safe situation. Major league clubs, the Padres and the Cubs called down and said, hey, only if it's a safe situation can you put this player in. So there are restrictions, and it's rightfully so. But the coming and goings is kind of frustrating because if you're going back to your camp and you're going to throw spring training, are you worried? Are they worried you're going to overthrow during a competitive game in the WBC? We didn't see position players coming and going. It was just pitchers. If they're getting to working on the side, and you're there to play for that nation, you're there to play for that nation. Guys committing like Joe Ryan and then backing out. Clay Holmes being there but never actually really pitching. But most importantly, their school. Deans went twice. Logan Webb went twice. Nolan McLean went twice. What's up with the school? Oh, I'm going to pitch for spring training and I'm going to go back. And you immediately get back and throw 60 something pitches for the Tigers in spring training. And then you want to drive to Miami to be in the dugout and wear the uniform and walk around like you're in Team USA after one start. That right there, we've got to draw a line. You're in or you're out. You're in or you're out. And the major league club's got to know this. You're in or you're out. Yes, there's risk, but you know what? When it comes to European soccer, actually international soccer across the board, there's an understanding between the national team and the club team that when that player is being called up to go play for the national team, there's an understanding that they're there to perform and play. They're not giving special instructions like, you know what, don't play them on the Saturday or Tuesday matches. They can sit them, on the bench and just chill and train, but I don't want them performing. No, if they're getting called up, they're going to get called up and playing. When you're there, you're there. And if you're not, you're not. And deal with it. It's fine. The half in, half out, and especially Marky Russell letting him come back and sit in the dugout was kind of ridiculous. Like, bro, you left the team. You left. We could have used you. I will say Nolan McLean should have pitched versus Brazil, and they could have moved, Webb and Skeens and Scooble around and had a much better rotation in the first four, maybe set up for the knockout stage a little bit different. McLean pitched well against Venezuela, so I know Combs there, but Scooble, like, buck up, bro. I know you just got a ton of money and you're kind of worried you just got through arbitration, you got ready for free agency, but Judge played all the time. He was out there every single day. Bobby Witt Jr.'s out there. They haven't been on pitch back-to-back days of intense, high quality. Don't give me this, you're there or you're not. And that has got to change. If you're on the team, you're on the team. What's the point of having a 30-man roster and, 14 pitchers at minimum? I think 14 or 15 pitchers. If you can keep just having an elevator and sending 3 guys out, 3 guys in, 3 guys out, 3 guys in. It's 2 weeks. It's 7 games. Get it done. If they need to have bullpen sessions on the side, they get bullpen sessions on the side. But you all know this was coming. This is not like some sort of like, oh, we have a tournament. Oh, okay, let's show up. No, you're on the team or you're not. It's half and half. It is ridiculous. And if you're committed, you're committed. If you're not, you're not. If you don't, if you're worried about insurance or getting hurt, totally great. There's a lot of Team USA starting pitchers or American starting pitchers who were asked to play. And like Garrett Crochet, he said, if you're in, you're in. If you're out, you're out. Make up your mind. Be committed. It's one thing, be fully committed. I will say, about the Olympics. The Olympics mean more than WBC. The Olympic gold and the WBC are the same. And I guarantee you the vibes in those stadiums for the Olympics aren't going to be as energetic as the WBC. And there's going to be more nations competing in the WBC than there are in the Olympics. This is a bigger tournament. This means a lot. Both of them mean the same. Get your minds right. Come out there and win. USA has been in the championship 3 straight times. They won in 2017 with a much more scrappy team. Not as many superstars. And the dude's got it done. The last 2 times we've had more superstars joining because they want to get that chance to get that trophy. And it comes in there and they're not getting done. They don't have that glue guy or the guys aren't showing up when it matters much. It's got to be, they have to find that commitment. Got to find a way to dive in. And that kind of transitions me to Mark DeRosa and Team USA. Mark DeRosa, and there's a whole the fiasco of him misspeaking and not knowing the rules versus Team Italy and the runs and the differential and thinking they were already in. You knew you were managing this club a long time ago. Know the rules. Team USA baseball. Is anyone like the media relations guy? Hey, by the way, this is what we need. Don't go up there on the mic and say anything stupid. Be prepared. Have the notes ready. It just gives a very bad look. Yes, Team USA played for the championship, but they got very lucky that Italy went out versus Mexico and did what they did. This team could have been easily eliminated in full play. because of someone not knowing the rules and not having their rotation set up to have the best pitchers face off. We already knew Brazil and Great Britain were the two bottom teams in that pool. Italy was going to be that, and a lot of major leaguers, they were going to be that wild card, and Mexico was going to be your number one target. Throwing Webb early, throwing Struble early didn't make much sense, and it almost cost them. Nolan McLean got bombarded by Team Italy right away in that fourth game of the pool, and it put stuff not only from a run difference perspective, but just taking the L in perspective. That was probably the last night the offense really actually showed up, and they made that comeback and scored 6 runs versus Italy. The offense really, and that was even a late arrival. The offense was a major problem, and that really attributed to Team USA choking in the championship game for the second straight tournament. Last night, and even in some of the semifinal game, Team USA was 3 for 41. It's .073 batting average with 17 strikeouts in their final 13 innings. Harper with 2 hits and Bryce Terang with 1. So the Bryces showed up last night. Did he show his last 4 innings versus Dominican Republic? Nothing. And this is a lineup with Bobby Witt Jr., Will Smith, Kyle Schwarber, Bregman, Gunnar Henderson, Roman Anthony, Byron Buxton, PCA, Aaron Judge. Cal Raleigh didn't even make an appearance for a while because he wasn't getting any hits. I mean, you're there. And I don't think it's like, well, I got to get myself. You're getting jump pitching in spring training. Get ready for the heat. You crush a guy in spring training through some junk. You show up to opening day. You're already going to be a little bit sloppy. Here they're giving you the right stuff. It's not exactly what it was the first game. It was the 7th game of the tournament. You've been in this thing for 2 weeks, plus a week of exhibition games before that. And you've been in spring training before about 3 weeks, even before that, if you arrived on time and didn't arrive early. You've seen live pitching by now. This is not some sort of surprise. But when it mattered, you choked. Bobby Witt Jr. in the championship, 0 for 3, but he did draw a walk late and score that run. Will Smith, 0 for 3, with one of the worst at-bats I've ever seen, where he swings at a ball that hits him and then doesn't swing at a meatball down the plate and then pops one up a mile high and is eliminated on 3 pitches. Kyle Schwarber was not locked in, 0 for 3, complete choke job. Alex Bregman, invisible at the plate the entire tournament. He is a guaranteed out and walked up to the plate. Roman Anthony, he had a couple big hits in the tournament. You're 0 for 3 last night, including striking at the end of the ball game. TA did come in late, 0 for 2. But the captain, Aaron Judge, 0 for 4, 3 strikeouts. Per underdogs at underdog and underdog sports, underdog betting, or at underdog on Twitter/X. Aaron Judge in the WBC and World Series. So when it matters most, a 182 batting average, 333 OBP, 363 slug, 1 home run, 10 strikeouts, no rings. In elimination games in the WBC, 2 for 11, 6 strikeouts, no RBIs. When it mattered most, these guys did not show up. Bryce Harper was already having a rough, tournament. Hit that monster home run, which was awesome. The vibes were there. You kind of thought, man, all right, they're there. We got it. We're locked in. He showed up when it mattered. He at least had a hit in a big game, but nobody else came along for the party. Team USA did have some solid bright spots. Logan Webb and Paul Steens were locked in. David Bednar, some intense, high intensity outs when things mattered the most. Whitlock, yes, he gave up that run in the 9th to basically we would take the L against Venezuela. But his previous 2 outings, he was lights out. He was really, really, really good. Bryce Terang, Gunnar Henderson, those showed up. Had great tournaments, defensively and offensively. Bryce was making plays. He was getting on base, a bunch of hits. There were guys who showed up. The tournament, 3 to 4 years from now, the next WBC, how many of these guys would be on that squad? Where will the mindset of this team be? You get there, you just can't deliver, and it's got to change. I'm not saying get rid of Mark DeRosa, but there has to be a holistic approach. You can't just bring out your bros. You can't just bring out your bros. You got to get guys who are going to get on base. This team had a lot of sluggers, and you've seen the sluggers did not pay off. None of them can catch up. You got to find some guys who can get on base, who can manufacture runs that aren't just a home run. Because throughout the tournament, very rarely did USA score without having to drive in for the runs via home run. There was not many put the ball in the gap, put the ball down a line, sack fly, manufacturing runs. Very few stolen bases, very few hit runs. They were just sort of sitting back and waiting for the home run. Got to find some guys who are going to buy in and actually deliver when it matters and put balls in the gap, create energy in the base pass. One guy gets on, the next guy gets on. This is an epidemic the entire tournament. No leadoff hitters. You can't really think of an ending where the leadoff hitter gets on. And that puts you already in the hole. You're already up 1 out, 2 outs, and then you get, I got a 2-out single. And then the guy strikes out. Yes, it's live pitching, but you're professionals. Some of the best hitters in the world. Fuck up and get your minds right. There were some controversial calls. Bryce Harper had a few, calls against him in the tournament that were rough. ADS would have overturned the call on the field by the umpire. Will Smith has some. We've seen some lacrosse in multiple games where the strike zone might have been stretched a little bit. And I will say though, in most cases, it was consistent. If it was down, the sixth inning, it was down. Just depending on the moment in the game might heighten the call. The call at the end of the Dominican Republic game, if you look at it from where the ball crossed the plate, from the side view and the front view, it's a strike. Where it got caught after it completed and passed the batter, it might have dropped a little bit low. But when it crossed the plate, it was at the knee of the strike, and there's multiple angles showing that. So quick to whining on that one. That was a perfect strike, well called by the umpire. And so that brings in the conversation of umpires, for the most part, pretty locked in and pretty accurate. And we're going to see that in MLB this year. Like the home plate umpires are going to be very, very much more accurate than you think they are. And it's not to say that the ABS is protecting them or will protect the integrity. You're going to see how good they actually are. And if you want to sit back there and actually pitch, a glimpse of that ball crossing the plate consistently, 1 or 2 and 3, and then 15 and 30, and then, 300 pitches later, as long as they're consistent, I'm okay with it. If it's a low strike, if it's a high strike, if it's a wide strike zone, if they're consistent for all 9 innings for both teams, I'm good. It's where the inconsistencies pop up. If you've seen a pitch like the previous team, previous couple batters, that was a ball and now it's a strike, that's where the problems arise. ABS, you get limited challenges, so it's going to be, is that even worth calling? Where's the scope of the game? Is that worth challenging and making a play on it, or to let that one ride? It doesn't have a full 360 view, so there's also going to be some perspective issues that come into play. They aren't going to have the boxes up on TV for the MLB season, so you're going to really have to trust ABS and the umpire. And it's not going to be like, whoa, that should have been challenged, or that should have been challenged, or ooh, that was a great call. We're going to get actually see natural of the ball just being thrown out of the box. And I think that'll actually help fans from home. Because, you see that box, you're like, well, that it was in the box. The umpire is not looking at a stupid box. He's looking at the ball coming over the plate based on the hitter. So ABS, it's going to be used. It might not solve all the issues. You also have to take into fact that there are multiple angles. Let's give the umpires the credit. Joe Hernandez, you are terrible. So I'm okay with you not being there, because if there is if you are behind the plate, there's not enough challenges in the world to help. But ADS is coming. We'll see how it goes. There's going to be a lot of bugs to work out of it from a major league perspective. It's been used in spring training. It's been used in the minor leagues. The challenging amount is going to be something like, is that pitch worth challenging? Do I want to save it for late in the ball game? And it comes back to the DR element. What if they had used their two challenges earlier in the game, that final pitch, whether it was a strike or not, or anyone's perspective, which it was a strike, they can't challenge anyone. So it's going to be a fun outing. Attendance and viewership numbers through the roof the entire tournament. Absolutely amazing across the globe. That will continue to keep building up. And that's going to be a major selling point for, when we look at this potential labor disputes coming between the Players Union and Major League Baseball. The majority, if not the majority of all the players in WC are Major League players. There's got to be some logic here. Look what the WC has done. Look where the game is right now. Look at the energy. We've got some, there's still some TV viewership things that need to be worked out. Not as many naturally televised games on networks and these streaming services. And you're starting to see people starting to drop streaming services because they are becoming more expensive, or if not equal to or more expensive than having cable. So we've got to find ways to keep the game in front of people's eyes, make it affordable for kids to get to, keep the energy. A lockout ruins a lot of that. Take this as a warning. You've seen a lot of great things happening. Take it to the next level and figure something out. One thing to also wrap up before we move on, teams in the Dominican Republic, just like Canadian hockey, you lost. You out there in your post-game conferences saying, well, we all know who the best team was. Yeah, Team USA. They beat you. The scoreboard says so. You lost. It doesn't matter what you feel. Reality is you lost. And the best team is the team with the team with the W, the team that's celebrating, the team that had more points, whether it's goals or runs. Everybody saw it. Everyone in the field, everyone in the stadium, everyone on the broadcast, they know. You can lie to yourself all you want. Give yourself a little pat on the back. But in the end, Team Dominican Republic, Team Canada, you lost. The best team was Team USA in all the situations. Men's and women's hockey, sled hockey, and Team USA baseball. Buck up. Own it. You're a winner and a loser. You took the L. You're beat by the better team. So WC, wrapping that up. Awesome. Hopefully it's setting the tone for a massive MLB season coming up that's opening here and on the 26th. And with that, we'll dive into my 2026 MLB predictions. We'll go division by division. I'll give my wild card teams and then my 2 World Series squads, and we'll go from there. Starting the American League East, New York Yankees. You're going to get Garrett Cole back at some point in the year, fully ready to rock and roll that pitching staff. would be much better pumping Max Fried to the two spot. Regular season Aaron Judge, great. We'll see what happens in the playoffs. I think the Blue Jays, Dylan Cease, that pitching staff still be really solid. I think they're going to finish second. I'm having them finish second. Boston Red Sox, there's still a lot of youth in that lineup. And I'm not sure I totally trust that pitching staff. I have them finishing third in the division. Baltimore Orioles, they have an amazing offense, but that pitching staff is there's still a lot of holes. And I think they're going to finish fourth, and the Tampa Bay Rays will finish fifth in the American League East. Looking at the AL Central, the Tigers' pitching staff is loaded, and that is going to help their lineup remain consistent. Tigers will win the division. I have the Royals finishing second, Cleveland Guardians finishing third, and they're a scrappy team. Don't be surprised if the Guardians make some sort of late surge out of nowhere, like they always do, and they have especially done the past 2 years. The White Sox finishing fourth. There's a lot of up-and-coming talent. They're going to have the full season together. Kyle Hill can get healthy and come back from the injury he had to Team Italy. That gives them even some more depth in that team. And the Minnesota Twins, yes, you have Royce Lewis, Byron Buxton, and Joe Ryan. That organization is a little thin right now. I think they're going to finish dead last in the AL Central. AL West is going to be a very fun division. I have the Seattle Mariners winning the division. I have the Texas Rangers finishing second. Houston Astros finishing third. I think the Rangers, if DeGrom and Evaldi can hold that pitching staff in a good spot, keep them healthy, getting Mackenzie Gore is going to really help them. And having that pitching to help contend with the Mariners separates them from the Astros and the Athletics and the Angels. Astros finished third. The Athletics, that lineup is loaded. Those guys are going to be a lot of fun to watch. They're going to score a ton of runs, but that bullpen and that rotation is still a lot of holes. And that worries me about if they do get to a game where the lineup is not there, is that pitching staff going to show up? So that's why they're in fourth. It continue to keep showing that team and the organization progressing. If they can get some pitchers to finally make their appearances in the majors, that makes the team much more balanced, puts them in a spot to contend in about a year or two from now. And the Angels, outside of Mike Trout, that there's a lot of issues with the Angels. Moore at second is pretty good. He's the young up-and-coming player, but there's some lineup concerns, and there's definitely some pitching concerns top to bottom. The Angels will finish dead last. Looking at the National League East, they've gone back and forth multiple times. The Phillies have a better rotation, so I'm giving the Phillies the division. If Schwarber and Harper play like they played the past couple of weeks, even though Schwarber did have the most hits on Team USA, but it never felt like it. It was always hits when it was 2 outs and he got on base, but never delivered. Was never that double, was never that big time home run, which was just like, yeah, you got on base, but you were too little too late or not impactful. Trey Turner at short. They have talent in Philly, but I think this is that last run that pitching staff can get going and keep them in contention for when Zach Wheeler comes back. They're going to be okay. The New York Mets, it's the Mets. It's the Mets, folks. They did a lot of upgrades to the lineup, added Freddie Peralta to the pitching staff, but the rest of that, Nolan McLean's there. It's still the Mets, and I don't trust them. I have them finishing second. The Braves are only finishing third because more issues with the pitching staff coming healthy in the spring training. Guys getting hurt. How much, Chris Sale being great and being back is awesome. Strider hopefully be, back to full form. It is, we've just seen injury concerns from that pitching depth has reared its ugly head multiple years. And last year they got through a slow start. I expect the offense to be much more refined and locked in this year to start, especially with the full healthy Acuna Jr. But the pitching staff has me very, very concerned that they can keep this going and keep the team in it down the stretch. I could see them finishing second, but that pitching staff is where I have a lot of concerns just due to more injuries when they entered spring training. Marlins will finish fourth, and the Nationals will finish fifth. The Marlins are going to be a scrappy young team, and they build off the momentum at the end of the year last year and move forward. They are going to be a pain in the butt for a lot of teams, and really, I think they're one of those clubs that are going to determine who makes the playoffs. Because when you have that series with them, they're going to make you fight, and they might steal a win or two, make it difficult. Look at the NL Central. I'm a diehard Brewers fan. I'm going to go ahead and get that out of the way. The Brewers have been on an amazing run, winning the division 3 years in a row, playoffs, 8 of the last 9 years, I believe. A lot of up-and-coming guys. They have been very, very healthy. Very healthy. I had the Cubs winning the division, and I had the Brewers finishing second, so I'm worried that injuries might actually hit the Brewers pitching staff. They have the depth in the field. But if the pitching staff injury that brings up another guy's not ready, do they have enough flexibility? They have organizational depth there. The number one, minor league system in all of baseball, how many guys are actually ready at the major league level? We'll find out. But the Brewers are a very aggressive and scrappy team. They play as one. And if the pitching staff can stay healthy and Miz and Henderson and Woodruff can get back to elite form, pitch at a high level, the team might win the division. But if it comes down to trade deadline, will the Brewers actually make a big move for a big time bat or pitcher that costs them a salary, increase and also some prospects as opposed to keeping the organizational depth and just using the young guys and using the development players to move forward. There's a lot also riding on young guys. Joey Ortiz, Jet Williams, a host of infielders who's going to step up and make plays. There's a lot of, there's potential. But can the Brewers keep it going? We'll find out. But I have the Cubs winning the division, Brewers finishing second, Cincinnati Reds finishing third. The Hunter Green injury, even though it's midseason coming back, it still worries me when your stud like that is there. How can the rest of the guys like Abbott and the young guy Burns up their game quickly? And can that lineup deliver consistently in Cincinnati? Pirates finishing fourth in the division. They added some pieces. There's a, young up and coming prospect at shortstop, some young pitchers obviously highlighted by Paul Skeens. Can the veterans of that team keep them going and keep them locked in and winning big games when it matters all year long? And then lastly, St. Louis Cardinals doing a complete franchise reset, finished fifth in the division. Not many other players left to trade, but they need a holistic revival of the entire organization because they spent a lot of money in the past and they failed to win. Now it's come back to haunt them. They've got to find a way to step. I do applaud them for ripping the Band-Aid off and just doing it. NL West, give me the LA Dodgers to win the division. I know, shocker, crazy. I'm an idiot. I'm a lunatic. Giants to finish second. Giants have a much more refined pitching staff. Their lineup is going to be well balanced. I think there's going to be some different vibes there with Tony Vitello taking over as the skipper there, and they're willing to. With Devers getting a full year, they're going to pay. Devers might not have as many home runs, but the RBIs, the doubles will definitely increase, and he'll feel much more comfortable playing out there in San Francisco. Padres going to finish third. Musgrave, Darvish being hurt, no Dylan Cease. A lot falls on Michael King and that pitching staff. Mason Miller at the back end, absolutely untouchable, but you have to be leading the ninth to get him up. The team has also had the injury bug a lot. Can that line stay healthy and pitching staff come back and actually overachieve? We'll find out, but I think the Padres finish third. Diamondbacks finishing fourth. A lot of older pitchers coming back like Gallen, and so what do they still have left in the tank? And how quickly does Corbin Burns get back to full on shape and pitching at a high level for the Diamondbacks? I think they finished fourth, so the division's so difficult. And then the Rockies will finish in cellar, and it won't be close. AL wild cards: Blue Jays, Red Sox, and the Kansas City Royals, pair along with the Mariners, the Tigers, and the Yankees in the postseason. National League wild cards. We have the Phillies, we have the Cubs, and we have the Dodgers win the division. I have the New York Mets, San Francisco Giants, and the Milwaukee Brewers making the postseason and the National League. In my World Series, with the New York Yankees and the LA Dodgers, just like 2 years ago, and we'll let it roll for there if the Dodgers go for this repeat. It's gonna be a great season. We'll dive into next episode of projections for MVP and Cy Young. Opening day is a week away, everybody. And my power rankings as we enter the season, as of March 18th, LA Dodgers 1, Yankees my second team, Mets are third, Mariners fourth, Blue Jays fifth, Cubs are sixth, Phillies are seventh, Tigers are eighth, Brewers are ninth, and the Boston Red Sox are 10th. That's my top 10 power. My bottom 5, about a week away from opening day. We'll say it's a bottom 6. Rockies, very, very, very bad. Nationals, Angels, Twins, and Cardinals. So you can go into descending order: Cardinals, Twins, Angels, Nationals, and the very, very bottom, Colorado. And like the past, if that's the way it finishes out, draft ordered obviously a lottery. So even if you're a work team, you might not get the top pick like the Rockies was past year. It is what it is. Welcome to the lottery system, everybody. Open days a week away, everybody. Get your fantasy teams ready. Get your season win total bets I did in the past few episodes been over under some of my thoughts. So get those bets in. Make it happen. Opening day is a week away. We're almost there. Can't wait, everybody. And as we go forward in the season, we'll give more updates of everything progressing around the year, as well as college baseball and college softball. Right now, we just started college baseball conference play, so the rest of March and April and in early May, every weekend's conference opponent. Midweeks could be regional rivals or lower opponent. We're getting, we still have a long, long way to go in college baseball season before we start talking about the road to Omaha. But we're just starting off there, and you're going to start seeing a lot of talent. Pay attention on Friday nights, Saturday afternoons, Sunday afternoons, whether it's ESPN Plus, ACC, Plus, SEC Plus, Big Ten Network, wherever you can find it, Peacock even. Look it up, watch these games. College baseball is a lot of fun, and you're going to see some energy from those players too. Very, very similar, especially with big rivalries. Very similar to some of the World Baseball Classic environments. Nothing will compare to Japan or the Latin American, Central American, Caribbean nations and the fire and the passion they bring for baseball. But it's still college. There's rivalries, and you get two teams facing off at a site. It can bring some of that over a weekend. Thanks for joining the Power Alley podcast. We're connected to Spinnable Sports Network. You can find us on all podcast platforms as well as the Spinnable Sports YouTube channel. I'm Fresh. You can find me on Twitter/X at SS_2Fresh. You can also find the Power Alley podcast on Twitter/X at Power Alley Pod. I'm a contributor to SpinnableSports.com and a co-host of our flagship podcast, the Irrational Confidence Podcast. You can find that on Twitter/X at our Confidence Pod. We're deep into our NFL draft prep. We just released our live mock draft. So myself, my co-host Seth, our producer Drew, and two of our other buddies, each first signed a few teams. We went through like we were the GM for those teams and made our picks for the first 2. It's all right there on Spinnable Sports YouTube channel. Go ahead and look it up. You can also find it through Twitter/X at our Conference Pod. And if you want to follow the whole thing, check out SpinnableSports.com, Spinnable Sports YouTube channel, and at Spinnable Sports on Twitter/X. You're going to find articles there, position breakdowns, top 20, top 25, top 30 at edge rusher, linebacker, corner, quarterback, running back, mock drafts from myself as well, in addition to our live mock draft from Irrational Confidence Podcast on Spinnable Sports YouTube channel. Baseball season's here, folks. Enjoy it, love it, cherish it, spread the word, bring people to our site. Hit me up on Twitter/X. We'll have a great conversation. Until next time, we'll catch you later with more chat in Power Alley. Bye, y'all.